All right, y'all. So, flat rate dealerships, are they ruining the industry? Are they hurting it? Now listen, please, before you comment, because this is what always happens is people start off the beginning of a video, don't watch it all the way through and get the context of the video, and then they just go in, put their opinion down, and they don't even listen to the video. And I would say well over half the time what they say has already been addressed in the video, and the context was not there for them in their opinion. So anyways, this is something that has been a conversation going on for a while. Not so much are dealerships ruining the industry, but flat rate is very, very hot topic right now. On my TikTok channel, I get tons of comments constantly. Several other content creators that I follow get comments all the time about it. Jeff from the Jaded Mechanic podcast has had several guests on his podcast talking about it. On my Instagram, I get tons of comments. So what do I think about it? Well, to be honest, I can't say everything is horrible about flat rate, because I did make a lot of money on flat rate. At both my two dealerships that I worked at two separate dealerships for right around 7+ years. And I averaged about 80 hours a week. So I did very well, and I did make quite a bit of money. What the worst part about it was the politics for me. Now, granted, I was able to make up for the crappy diag time, the crappy warranty time that we got from a lot of things in my normal customer pay stuff. But that is a major problem, and not everybody was able to do that. Not everybody is built for flat rate. I do think flat rate can be great if done properly, and you have a quality service manager, quality advisors, and if you have a shop foreman in place. If you have quality people like that, it does make a huge difference, because that means they're charging appropriately. You're actually getting your diag time. You're not getting paid 3/10 for a diag, which should never be the case, ever. It's absolutely horrendous. Also, you see a lot too where the diag charge gets built into the labor cost. So if a starter calls for 2 hours, we're billing 3 because we gave them the diag for free. I hated that. I don't like the smoke and mirrors game. Now at my own shop, there's a specific line for testing and evaluation, diagnostic testing, whatever you want to call it. We've got to stop calling it diagnostics, first of all. A little side note there, but there is a line there. I get paid an hour to do my diagnostic testing, my testing and evaluation, again, whatever you want to call it. But that is one of the main areas that you see a lot of flat rate techs get screwed. And it's so much more beneficial for them to do brakes or suspension or, repairs like that. So, of course, that's all they want to do. And I don't blame them. That's how they get paid. So that's one of the tough conversations to have is, why are we not charging appropriately and showing the value? In my personal experience, the mass majority of service advisors that I worked with, my experience is most of them were scared to try to get full diag time from a client. And then if you ever needed over an hour, any more than an hour, forget about it. That was next to impossible to ever get, which just blows my mind that the most important part of the process, we have a hard time presenting to the client and explaining to them the value for it. So it's very frustrating in that sense for sure. Do I think flat rate's ruining the industry? No, I don't think it's ruining the industry. What I do think is because of flat rate, and then you have the shop politics or dealership politics, plus all of the other things that you're trying to overcome in the industry, because it's not an easy industry to be in. It's hard. I mean, I wouldn't say it's really hard, but there's a lot of tough things about it, and it's very rewarding. Don't get me wrong, I love this industry. It's been a fantastic industry for me. It's supported my wife and kids. We've started a shop, all of those things. I love it. Are there tough days? Yeah, of course. But overall, it's been fantastic for me. But you add all of those things as far as trying to get diag time, doing warranty time at a dealership, not getting paid all the time that you're due. As far as like, let's say you sell a job and the next thing you know, the advisor's like, oh, hey, well, I didn't get the full labor time, so I had to cut you, but I'll get you on the next one. Like that's one we always heard, I'll get you on the next one. You always got screwed. Or, hey, I didn't get any diag time, but I'll get you on the next one. Well, the next one never came. And you start adding all of those things up day in and day out and day in and day out. And then, in a lot of cases, not every case, but in the flat rate environment, people are all in it for themselves. Not a lot of people want to help each other. And that all of those things coupled together can get really tough. And that's why I have seen in a lot of my comments, a mass majority of my comments, people talking about how they hate flat rate and they have no desire to work it, and it pushed them out of the industry into another trade. And that's one of the struggles we're seeing is people leaving the automotive industry and going into another trade. Why? Because cars have electrical, they have plumbing, they have HVAC, they have all of these other things that translate into another trade. So if you're good with your hands and good with working on cars, you're going to be good at those other trades as well. And those trades aren't lumping in diag costs to the repair. They're charging a fee to show up to the house. They're charging a diagnosis fee, and they're charging for the repairs. They're paying their employees well. They're paying them benefits, paid time off. And unfortunately, in our industry, we've not been doing that. We've been subsidizing our costs. And it's almost like we're afraid to charge what we need to charge. And I've not quite put my finger on that. I would love to hear your all's thoughts on why we've been like that. There's been a lot of times in a lot of cases where shops have raced to the bottom on price, trying to compete with each other, trying to be the cheapest shop around. And if you've run a shop for any period of time, you know that that's not good. You can't do that. At least if you want to survive and pay yourself and have profit and pay employees well and such like that to compete with these other industries, you have to charge well and you have to charge appropriately. So I'd love to know all your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the flat rate pay scale? I personally really like hybrid pay scale, so I get a lot of questions about hybrid pay. You can do that in multiple ways. You can do it on hourly, so they would get paid an hourly rate plus a bonus incentive commission as far as like what the total gross revenue numbers are, or net revenues. So gross profit or net profit, and the percentage change depending. And that way, you're still getting a hourly. So if the shop's slow, which is the owner's job to keep cars flowing into the building, you're not suffering as a tech. And then, excuse me, when the shop's doing really well and the revenue numbers are up, everybody's benefiting and everybody's working together for the greater good of the shop. Now, I have heard there's, people have mentioned, if that's the case and one guy is slow in the shop and you don't hit your numbers, people can blame that guy. That comes down to work culture. Not everybody's going to be as fast as everybody else. Not everybody's skill set's going to be the same as everybody else. As long as you're working together as a team and you're all willing to help each other out, you're not going to get a lot of that. If you have one toxic guy in the group, well, that's the owner's fault and they need to get rid of that person. I've always heard that you need to be slow to hire and quick to fire. And in my personal experience when I was working at the dealerships, what happened is when you didn't fire a toxic employee like that, everybody in the shop kept thinking, do they either not see it? And if they don't see it, then they're obviously not paying attention to anything else. So then you start to question their leadership, or they see it and they just don't care, which again, you question their leadership, and neither are good. So you got to fire those people quickly. So anyways, let me know your thoughts. Again, I don't think it's ruining the entire industry, but I think it does hurt. And the reason it's hurting the industry is the fact that it's not done correctly. And the dealerships are a big proponent of that because of the way the warranty system works. Customer pay is a little different. It's not always perfect. Again, like I said, I had plenty of advisors that were terrified to sell diag time and correct labor times. But in a lot of cases, it is diag. Like when I was at the dealership, it was really hard to even get 3/10 for a diag. And then, you're getting 3/10, 18 minutes for a diag. You still got to pull the car in. You got to connect the scan tool. You got to obviously read the codes. You got to check your data, diagnose the vehicle. Then you got to put all of your 5 C's and write the entire story out. 3/10 is garbage. You're losing money on that every single time. You're not making any money. And that's where the frustration lies. So again, let me know your all's thoughts. I'm curious. These conversations are great to have. We need to have these discussions, and we'll continue to do videos like this and have conversations back and forth. Appreciate you all watching. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.